Hey, everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Yep, in the GISH world there. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have a great panel in store for everybody today. We are on day 7 of the hunt. And day 7 is the day usually when people are like, I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can do any more than I've already done, but we can do it. You're already doing it. You have one more day tomorrow to get all your items uploaded and finished. We've been stunned by the number of submissions this year. Thank you. Your creativity is very welcome. And we are seeing some incredible work from you. So today we're going to be doing some building in true GISH spirit. Little unexpected stuff coming up for you. Wanted to give you a couple of updates. One, we are 50% to our goal on our Change a Life that we launched yesterday. Over 50,000 raised in just 18 hours for people facing terrible conditions while being incarcerated. So thank you for stepping up and helping Dream Corps and Cut 50. We gotta keep working though and get to that goal. So if you can get other people involved, spread the word, we'll make it. And you have until tomorrow night to hit that goal. So we've also been seeing some issues with GoFundMe on their tech side. So if you see some issues with setting up teams or the fundraising, we're aware of it. It's a GoFundMe issue, but we're working to get that resolved as well. But enough of me talking. I'd like to introduce you to some incredible people, 3 gentlemen and a smaller gentleman that are, I would say, immortal in their own right. I mean, for obvious reasons, Jackson Rathbone, you're an immortal. And then we've got 2 Lego Master Model Builders who create work that stands the test of time. So thank you all for joining us today. You can unmute yourselves if you want. You can mute yourself the whole time if you feel like.
Oh, you should definitely keep me muted for sure.
Great. Chris, why don't we start with you, and then we'll talk about what you and Pete are doing, and then Jackson will roll to you. Chris, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Chris Steininger. I'm a Lego Master Model Builder, and I'm one of very few people that actually get paid to play for a living. So as part of my job, I travel the world building large-scale sculptures out in public, where I'll actually enlist the help of thousands of kids to build a model that, let's say, is 20 foot tall or something like that in just one weekend. And so when I'm not traveling around, I'm back in Enfield, Connecticut, which is a North American headquarters for Lego, where we're building large-scale sculptures. I got a kind of an example being built right behind me of something I would be building back in Connecticut. And that's actually has a little bit to go along with our campaign that we're going to be launching, or launch this year, Rebuild the World. So we have a world that I'm building right behind me. So that's awesome. You'll be on the lookout all over the U.S. for these to be popping up soon.
I love it. I can't wait to talk about Rebuild the World because it's so relevant to the time we're living in. So important, the message that you're trying to spread. So Pete, tell us about yourself.
Hi, can you guys hear me first and foremost?
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Pete Donner. Like Chris, I'm a master model builder, but master model builder is a phrase that covers a whole different selection of types of work. So I typically am in the design end of things. I am the person somewhat responsible for the model shop design coming out of the Enfield of the models. That means that I oversee from concept to completion of models for flagship stores all the way through to the events like Chris was just saying. He will partake. That being said, we're all ambassadors for Lego, and we like to spread the potential, which again, I'll just touch on Rebuild the World quickly and say that it's fully in spirit of what Lego's always trying to do. So our mission is to take people like Monroe, who's on camera here, and give them the tools, techniques, and creative inspiration to take Lego to the next level and see it carefully into the future. So that's what I do.
Yeah, again, we'll get into Rebuild the World in a second, but Jackson, if you don't mind, unmute. Are you muted right now? I think.
Did I unmute myself?
No, there you go. You're good. So enough about you. Monroe, tell us, what are you building these days?
Well, now I'm advanced and I'm building stuff like a car, like a working car with remote control and things
Here it is.
with these. I
Oh,
haven't
nice.
really finished. I finished it, couldn't get it to work, but now I'm making my own things with the mechanics. And this is going to be
Awesome.
maybe a little part of our build today.
I love it. I love it. And Jackson, why don't you tell us about yourself, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm Jackson. I'm Monroe's assistant. I am here just to help him achieve his dreams and desires in the course of this and the rest of his life. I'm an actor, writer, and I like to make things.
Yeah, you do.
Or dreams into reality. So
Love it.
Monroe is my partner in crime. We're both Monroes, actually. Monroe Jackson Rathbone's over here.
Fifth, I'm
Nice.
fifth and sixth.
5.
Nice.
And I thought we have a opportunity of gold pieces here.
Nice.
Yeah, we found some
We
gold.
should
We got
use
the Lego
those.
gold. We have to figure out how to utilize.
I love it.
Yeah, including
I
his
love it.
fireman hat.
So we're gonna
Well,
have some fun here, and we're excited to be part of a rebuild the world with you guys. And
Yeah.
thanks for having us on.
Well, let's dive in. Yeah. So real quick, Chris and Pete, if you wouldn't mind telling us about Rebuild the World. It's really interesting because, you know, we're in this time when there's a lot of challenges and we're trying to like overcome a lot of different things, a lot of different people. The metaphor I keep hearing is that we're all in the same boat, but weathering different storms. I feel like, can you tell us a little bit about what Rebuild the World means?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think rebuild the world, we got to internalize it, right? We have to really understand it. But I think Lego's bigger overarching message that we're trying to use rebuild the world is to inspire kids to remake the world kind of in their own vision. So to take kind of a fun spin on the challenges we're having today and maybe make something that's difficult or challenging more fun. You know, it's like the idea that up can be down, you know, black can be white, whatever. You can really just take it and flip it on its head and have fun with it, you know, put a fun, creative spin on it. I don't know, Chris, what do you think? Is that?
No, I think you nailed it. I mean, in reality, we're looking for kids and families and anyone really to push the boundaries of their own creativity, because in the end, Lego bricks are so able to be placed in so many different configurations that there really is no wrong way to build with Lego. And that's really what Rebuild the World is all about. It's about pushing the boundaries of your own creativity and creating something that maybe has never been seen ever before. So that's really the goal of this whole campaign. So, for example, you might have a house that is flying rather than sitting on the ground. So it's just a matter of thinking beyond the normal.
I love it. I mean, I think, you know, kids, when they see these, we see problems and challenges and they're like, oh, what can I make out of that? It's so cool to sort of see how a kid's POV is so different from adults, because they're like, oh, wait, that broke? Oh, we could combine that with this and then make a bigger thing. And that's the attitude I think we need to listen to from our kids, you know?
Yeah, and I would
Absolutely.
say Chris is far more immersed in traveling around the world now. I used to do it a bunch more when I was younger. And I think the most inspiring aspect of that for me was to just see how kids would take something like building with Lego and approach it in a way that somebody like myself who did it every day couldn't do it. You know, they just had a different creative spin, as you said. And I think Rebuild the World is just Lego's way of saying, let's take that to the next level.
Yeah, totally. Jackson, when you build with Monroe, are you the assistant that finds the pieces? Are you taking things apart? Like, tell me about what happens with those bricks.
I think mainly I'm here as backup. I mean, yeah, if I need to remove something, right? That's kind of like generally what I'm best at, right? Is kind of removing old pieces that were put together and then finding something. But otherwise I'm useless, I think.
And otherwise, if he's not useless, whenever I'm trying to find a certain thing or piece, you just walk in the room and I find it.
Isn't that weird? We're like, I can't find this, and then boom, finds it. Yep.
Yeah, just my presence nearby, it scares the piece into appearing.
Yeah, totally.
That's dad mode right there.
You have to find
dad mode.
you have to find this and this. They could combine well.
Yeah, so we're
already doing
gonna
it.
start making something
Great.
kind of an animal hybrid. We're not quite sure yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
let it
along those lines.
We can tell you guys. So GISH has a long history of hybrid mascots. These are animal mashups that are these creatures that we've never seen before. I'm actually going to show you some of the years past what those look like. And the interesting thing about this is, like, this year, obviously, we've got the Scroose, which is a moose squirrel hybrid. We've got, let's see here, we've got lots of different kinds. I mean, we've got, I'm not going to pronounce that one in front of children. We've got the Possible, which is a possum bull character. The Porcupanda, not to be confused with the Panda Pine, which is completely different. The Wooster, the wolf rooster hybrid. Slangaroo, which is a sea lion kangaroo, obviously. And Elipus, Dino-Mite, tiny little mite, the dinosaur. I like his undies. And Wooster. And so we thought that we would employ your expert help from all of you guys. Let me just show you guys what the, everyone here who's tuned in, this is your challenge. This is now up in the hunt list, but it is now available for you to check out. So I'm just going to read this off. Item number 5, an image. The Lego Master Model Builders are working to rebuild the world, which is full of undiscovered creatures. Luckily, Gishers are on the job. Build a hybrid animal or cryptid creature out of the legendary locking bricks. Then take a forced perspective picture of it coming after you. So then post it on social media, tagging the following. So we are going to be building hybrids and cryptids today. Chris and Pete, did you guys already design something just to kick us off so that we can see what's possible here? Jackson, are you guys going to start on your cryptid or your hybrid? Great.
Yeah, we're going to start building something. So we're not.
Okay, good. Get going. Keep
It
going.
might take us a bit.
Yeah.
All right, we're not master
do it.
builders, okay? We haven't had weeks of
We're
preparation.
not master builders, but we're extreme builders.
Extreme builders.
Extreme
I
builders.
like it. I like it.
This could actually come in handy.
Yeah, we might utilize some
Mechanics.
raw power mechanics and drill it.
Nice. Yep. All right.
That's
So
because
you guys get
I know
building, and then
that.
Chris, do you guys want to show us what you have?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start off here. So I have something I think is pretty cool here. And I actually gave it a name that fits in line with everything that you guys have done. So I'm going to throw it right up here. I don't know if you guys can see that clearly, but that is a Pangala. So it's half penguin, half koala. So that is what I've done. I think there's going to be some pretty awesome stuff out there. It's going to totally blow this away, to be honest with you.
Can't wait to see
So
it.
a Pangala.
And Pete, did you already build something for us?
So I do have something a little bit built, but I wanted to maybe give you guys a little peek behind how we would design something. And I think one thing that Chris and I call out at the beginning of this is we're master builders, which means we don't typically design sets. So I wanted to give you something that was maybe a little bit more in scale and in process to what we would do on a daily basis. So I don't know if it's okay for me to share my screen.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I'll let you name it because I couldn't come up with a good one for it. But when you can see my screen, let me know.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We
look at
got
that.
it.
So I made a otter, satyr, mermaid. I went with a 3 hybrid creature. So our process usually begins like any creative process. We'll sit down with paper and pencil, we'll draw it out, then we go into a piece of software like this. It's all the same stuff that Hollywood uses to do the special effects in the animated films we love. But this mesh, I then posed in a different piece of software, and then I brought it into our brick software. So you get a little bit more sense of his majesty. He's sitting on a log, you know, because he's not.
So what we're seeing here is we do have some people that have visual issues, so I'm just going to describe it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to do a good job, but Pete, you're using a software to be able to design Lego concepts before you've even touched the bricks.
Yes. Yep. And again, we use all the same tools, techniques, and technology that Hollywood uses to make special effects in films or animation videos or video games, all the same stuff. which really has changed. I've been in Lego for 22 years. When I started, it was paper, pencil, graph paper, and you would just take that and transcribe it. So you had a lot less dynamism in the posing. I think I mispronounced that, but yeah, I'll let myself get away with it.
And we'll allow it.
But this is basically our process, really truncated and bird's eye, really high in the sky. So we take this mesh, I posed it, and I brought it in here, and then I turned it into a rough brick model. And I think
cool.
one thing.
So now we're seeing the like the number of pieces theoretically, or the edges of these pieces, so that we can see the actual how it all fits together.
Yep, exactly. So you get a sense of, you can see all the lines, those represent plates, which stack up to equal bricks. And from here, this is really, our software allows us to work in brick and plate easily. And then we can add specialty elements, which in this model at a scale, you wouldn't use a ton necessarily, but the eyes you'll see are specialty elements. And then from here.
Does that give you a number of pieces too?
It can, but this being so small, we would tend to hand build it. So you'll.
Yeah.
Version of it. Being in
cool.
quarantine at home, I have a limited supply of bricks, but you tend to change it when you build it physically. No matter how many years I've been in the computer now, for about 12 years, it never feels the same physically as it does digitally. So there'll be a lot of hand design in that phase, which people are typically surprised that we use the computer to the degree that we use it. Then they're surprised that we augment it so much as we build it, just because there's something with scale or something. But,
can you just show that head that you've built so far? Look at that. Look at that.
Well, thanks again, Pete, for one-upping me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
If I hadn't run out of time, I'd be holding it like this. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's so cool. And so wait, so I mean, I'm sure everybody, like when I know Chris, you and I actually met some years ago at like a dad blogging convention, but
yeah, that's right.
You're a second generation master model builder. What does a master model builder do?
Yeah, so I am a second generation. My father was one of the master builders quite a few years ago now, so he's since retired. But we worked together for a solid 10 years at least, doing all sorts of different large-scale building events all over the world. And you know what it means to be a master builder. So really, we're involved with every aspect of the creation of a model. So we'll be in the initial brainstorms when we're going to come up with the idea of what the model could be, right through to the actual creation of the model, to the building of the model, and to executing the events in public. So we're kind of involved with everything when it comes to the creation of the large-scale sculptures. Our team, we definitely have certain guys on our team that are more specific parts along the way that they're going to take control. So Pete definitely handles a lot of the design side of stuff and make sure that all of our models throughout the entire our entire breadth of our models we've created all have some sort of similar design style. They're not all wonky and really out there in left field. So he definitely makes sure that we stay within the boundaries of what looks good, really. So,
Chris,
but
I don't
go
want
ahead,
to
Pete.
I think that quickly, if we were to describe Master Model Builder the way it's always been laid out to me, is it was kind of like a journeyman's apprenticeship. You would learn everything there was to do with brick, and ultimately you could solve any problem with brick. Because I think even design challenges become problems for us to solve sometimes when, now we're working on programs that allow us to continue to spread the messaging that we do that aren't these huge collective groups. I think Master Model Builders, the brick is key and fundamental, but we can actually take the creative process beyond the brick to use the brick in a way that's never been leveraged before, I think.
That's so cool. I mean, I know as a kid, the idea of like being able to engineer things with Lego and be able to create innumerable worlds and creatures was like, that was the dream. I mean, there's so many questions coming into the Q&A, but I mean, how do you become a master model builder? Did you go to school for engineering, or like some of these questions? There's a lot of questions right now about the origins of this.
So typically we all have some sort of creative background, some sort of art background. I have a background in woodworking, furniture making, carpentry. So I've built everything from cedar boats all the way up to dressers and desks. The desk I'm working on right behind me, I built. So we all have some sort of creative background. And then you start off in a model shop, not just as a master model builder. You have to work your way up. So you'll start off as a model gluer trainee, and I said it model gluer because unfortunately, most of the models that we build in our shop have to be glued together using a solvent that actually melts the Lego brick and creates a welded bond. And so you start off as a model gluer trainee, then you become a model builder, then eventually a senior model builder, and then finally a master model builder. So it's kind of a learn on the job. I can say you would definitely want to have some sort of 3D art background in either Maya, ZBrush. Those are kind of some key softwares that we use. But really, there's not many of us. So it's not like I could say, go to this university and get this degree, and you're going to have everything required to be a master builder. It's largely on-the-job training.
And was that program that you're using, Pete, Maya? Is that because we had a bunch of people ask if that was what the name of that software was?
So Chris touched on it. So my process typically will begin on paper, and then I'll move into ZBrush, which is more of a digital sculpting package, which I think is pretty standard now across. If there's one tip you could give somebody that wanted to train technically for our job, it's to follow maybe a game pipeline, which ZBrush and Maya are standard. I think 3D Studio Max is comparable. But those are softwares that are a requirement to our job. But fundamentally, it's about the brick. You know, the master model builders should be able to make any shape, any form, any vehicle, car, person, place, or thing out of Lego. So you can be great at software and great at drawing, but if you don't understand how the Lego, because it's the Lego system by design, where it's a toy world that's built to all interact with each other to make anything possible. So you have to understand that. I think that's one of the most fundamental things. And you know what, to be honest with you, I see it in Monroe when we first were getting ready to set up, and he pulled out the engine of the car and it became a Dremel. You know, so it's like you got to be able to not just see it, but push past what everyone else sees when they look at it. So to me, that's how you become a master model builder.
Totally. Jackson, how are you guys doing over there? Monroe, what's the status report over there?
Status report? We got, this is almost we're making a mouse. We're making a mouse whale.
Mouse whale. Oh, epic.
A wouse.
That's a wouse. That's perfect, guys.
We want to wow you with our wouse.
I'm seeing it. And if anybody wants to join us to show off what they're in the middle of building or talk about what they're building and ask some questions to Jackson, Monroe, that's looking so good, guys. Or Pete or Chris, raise your hand right now, and we'll try to bring a couple of people in. That wouse is looking good, guys.
Huh? What do you think?
It's awesome. I mean, we use car lens for the eyes, and we use the pit. We use like one of those for the tail, and we made like a little glowing thing that made it into a mouse.
It might be radioactive.
Might be radioactive.
Wait,
Things happen.
And I've been savoring these pieces for like more than a month.
Well, I've been secretly building something. I've got a hedgehog spider that I've been building. That's really good, guys. It's really good.
It's awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you. We're gonna build some. We're gonna add some people in here. And let's see, Steve.
Could be the tail.
Oh yeah, put back the tail together.
Steve, you're here. Wait, hold on one second. Let me just grab a couple of people. See what you guys are building. Steve, you there?
Yes, hi.
Yes.
And who's this?
This is Maxwell, and he just works on Lego all of the time. He has made some creations he wanted to show you guys.
Please.
Check it out.
All right, we're gonna make you big here so we can see you. Oh, nice. Tell us about this guy.
Person. It's a squid person.
Squid person.
Squid
Nice.
person. That's
Squidman.
fantastic.
Squidman.
Squidman.
I like it.
That is awesome.
Job.
That's good stuff. Hold on now. Not only are you a Lego fan, but are you a Super Mario fan too?
On your shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you seen the new Lego set that's coming out?
Yeah, the Mario ones. Remember we
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Target.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Right,
pretty
that's
awesome.
right.
I'm pumped for it.
Yeah.
There was a Bowser cast. There was a Bowser one. I'm
Oh yeah.
really forward to those.
That's so exciting.
Hey.
Hey, let's go.
Oh, I'm a fan of Mario too. I got the starter set, and this is our thing so far. It's like wow, like whale, boat, mouse.
We took a boat and we're turning it into this creature. We also really love Mario over at our house. We have Mario birthday parties every year, I think.
Like almost every year. Almost every year. My last one was Minecraft.
Oh yeah, Minecraft last year. Look at hers.
I just want you to know,
Wow.
Dude.
I wrote down Wouse in my notebook because I'm going to do a bunch of Wouse drawings when I get off this meeting.
Boom. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Steve.
We get all
Thank
the
you.
Thanks, Dave.
Somebody asked, hey Jackson, somebody asked how you found out about GISH, and they say 100 monkeys are awesome.
Oh, well, first off, thank you, 100 Monkey Love. That's amazing. I kind of found out about GISH through this Mr. Capon over here. Charlie and I were neighbors, and we just kind of, every time we get together at like a kid's party, we we'd have a pun off, I think. It would usually just start with one of us saying something silly, and then the other one kept going, and we'd just be in the corner talking puns until other people would interrupt us and be like, you guys are adults, you realize
Yeah.
this.
A lot of dad jokes, a lot of puns. It's
A
true.
lot of bad jokes and puns.
We're
And
also
then,
mixing it with a boat. How could we name a walrus plus a mouse plus a boat?
oh no, we're having
Oh.
two.
A woat?
And I meant
Oh, a mouse whale boat.
mouse whale boat.
Wow.
Yeah, I do that.
Woast.
Nah.
It sounds German. Sounds like
Yeah.
German.
So I think this is a question for everybody. What's your favorite set or build of all time? What have you built that you're like, yes? Because for me, I just built something from scratch here just the other day. I was just like, I'm gonna make something from scratch. I'm gonna rebuild the world, and I made this Star Trek thing. Anyway, what's your favorite build or set of all time?
Chris, you want to go first?
Oh, go ahead. You're on screen. Go, Pete.
My favorite is probably a set that I built is the Disney castle that came out a few years ago. You can only get at the Lego stores. Probably the nicest kit I've ever seen. Personally, my favorite build that I've ever been involved with was we recreated Thanos a few years ago when Infinity War was starting out, and I got to design and then be part of the build team. That's probably my favorite build, but set is the Disney castle by far.
Yeah, so for me, favorite set. So I'm going to have to step back to when I was a child. And my favorite set growing up was by far the Technic Space Shuttle. So it was back in the early 90s. You know, we're going to outer space. International Space Station was being built. And we had the actual Technic Space Shuttle. My favorite set by far growing up as a kid. But when we have to step forward to building large-scale sculptures, as a master model builder, I think my favorite model that I was involved with was we built the city of Rio for the 2016 Olympics. So that was 16 feet by 19 feet, had all the different landmarks across the city. And then I spent actually 3 weeks down there with my father, which was awesome. And we had to assemble it all down there. And it was just a really fantastic project to be involved with.
Awesome. And what do you got there? What do you got there, Jackson?
Well, we used to have so when Monroe used to be really into the Beatles, and I don't know where he got that from. Kids. But we got this yellow submarine set, and it was a really cool set. And we put it together. It was like a big build we did. And well, it's now in pieces in all of our Lego. And that's what I really enjoy about like the Lego process ever since I was a kid. And now having Monroe here and my other kids as well, it's the idea of taking something out of the box, putting it together like per the instructions or whatnot.
And then assembling it and making your own.
That's the best part, and that's what I've always loved about Legos. I think that's what I think that's kind of in a big grand way. It's an analogy for life, right? You're born and you go to school and you have these certain kind of guidelines you follow, and then you come of a certain age and you realize you kind of have to dismantle those guidelines and build the world and the life that you believe, and then with the pieces that you're given as much as you can.
Yeah.
And you know, to take Legos as an analogy and just, you know, take all the little pieces we found and put them together into something that's maybe strange, but definitely beautiful. I think that's what I love about Legos. That's what I love about
man.
you at GISH, man.
I love it. Well,
awesome.
we're gonna wrap up here, but Chris and Pete, do you have any tips that you can share that only like a professional master model builder would know? You can share with the audience because they're going to be building their hybrids. I'm going to put that deliverable back up. But what's one tip that we can share to make something a tip that only you guys would know?
All right, so go ahead, Pete.
For me, if I'm designing something small, Monroe's got in his hand, I would always try to find the shape that is the closest to begin with, and then make that element work throughout the whole model, which a lot of people will chase little details, and then they'll just continuously chase those details, and it'll either get overly busy and too visually complex, or they'll just lose sight of everything because scale of all the different details won't fit together. So I'd say figure out your big shape and then try to get there. As in painting, when I was in college learning art, that was called the big brush method. Try to find the biggest shape first and carry that through to the end. And just to touch on what Jackson said really quickly, I connected with my best friend from when I was a child the other day, and we hadn't seen each other in about 20 years, and we were sitting down and eating lunch, socially distanced, safe and all that. He was in the area for personal reasons, and he started laughing when I told him what I do, because when I was Monroe's age, I was horrible at putting Lego sets together. I never actually would. I would just take the parts and make really weird, crazy, wild things. And this is my 10-year-old version of myself inspiring people of today. There is a dovetail to this story that it's really just about not being scared to try things out. You know, a wheel might be a great head, just like it can propel a car, it can propel the character of a person, place, or thing just as well. That'd be the 10-year-old Pete. Old man Pete would say, try to get there as quickly as possible with the right shape piece to begin with. You're up, Chris.
All right, so I'm going to give you something that's very simple, but it's going to be something that hopefully will help your building experience be a little bit more successful. So one of the things that we have to do as master builders is a process called interlocking. So I'm going to kind of show you what that looks like right here. And it's more or less the overlapping of seams. So you see here where the yellow bricks overlapping the orange bricks and so on, which makes a nice, strong, stable model. Now, a lot of times when people are building, you might get a lot of things happening like this, where you stack the pieces up. And what happens is you've created something now that's very weak. It just easily falls apart. So these are some things that we talk about when we're out on events and stuff, when people ask, oh, how can I make a stronger model? Or my model keeps on falling apart as I'm building it. And this is the key technique to actually creating a nice, strong, stable platform to build on. It's just like a mason builds a wall. You don't see all the bricks stacked up. They are always overlapping, just like this one here. So that's a key technique and tip that I would say you guys should practice.
Solid. Well, also, you know, there are female master builders, right? I think one was announced some time ago. Is that right? Somebody's been asking about it. I think we need to get more. I think this is a call to everyone to come out and no matter where you're from, I mean, anybody could be a master builder, right, guys?
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There are 3 little kids in my life. 2 of them are girls, and they're both amazing builders. They are much more advanced than I was at their age. So I encourage the moving forward of that for sure.
My son Finn built a hybrid, but it's a little bit. I mean, again, we're rebuilding the world. So he made a monkey robot with a top hat on. So he's kind of a classy monkey robot. He's got a top hat and he's got wings. So
the only way to do it, you got to be
going places. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Monroe, I love your whale mouse boat thing. I think it's a great animal and I can't wait. Look at that. Stunning. You managed the gold pieces too?
Yeah.
Yep. Love it. We're getting a lot of people.
Tail. We got I mean, this is I love it. All I did was like kind of help find the pieces and named it, but this kid's so creative, man, and it's I don't know. I love it. I love the idea of just being able to put pieces together and make it what you have in your head. And then like
Exactly.
the other thing was it kind of started off. It was going to be something else, and then we found certain pieces, and they kind of morphed into what it became. And I love that idea about how Legos just come together and everything's ready to go.
It was first going to be a fish hedgehog.
Yeah, it was going to be a fish hedgehog, and then it became a whale mouse. So I
You
love
never
it.
know. You
And then
find
Monroe
the art
said,
as it happens.
There was a female master builder who did
Yeah.
what?
Who won Master Builders?
Who won Master Builders on Hulu? Was it?
Who won Lego Masters?
Yeah, there's some Lego Masters competition. She just won. So like he was just reminding me about that while we were talking.
Totally.
I'm gonna
Well-
show you. Pew, pew, pew.
Well, we're gonna go play with our new creations here, guys.
Do it up. Do it up. So remember, guys, item number 5, we got to build a hybrid animal or cryptid creature out of the legendary locking bricks, Lego bricks, and then take that forced perspective picture of it coming after you, and then post it on social media as a public post, tagging Lego and using hashtag rebuild the world and hashtag GISH. Thank you all so much for hanging out, and thank you to our master builders, Chris and Pete. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you. Thanks for having us.
us.
All right, take care, everybody.
See ya.